Okay. Shall I start?
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. I am Ms. Tejaswini Pawar on the behalf of Department of Information Technology, MVP's KBTCO in Nasik, welcomes you in the webinar on information security and its mitigation techniques. For presenting this, we are having Mr. Vishal with us. He is certified ethical hacker by ES Council US, also referred as a white hat hacker who systematically attempts to inspect network infrastructure with the consent of its owner to find the security vulnerabilities which a malicious hacker could potentially exploit and to determine it if unauthorized access is possible. He is also certified by various top security vendors in the various platforms like endpoint perimeters and data security. He is having total 5+ year of experience in the cybersecurity and risk services in IT industry. Now I request Mr. Vishal sir, please proceed further and guide our students. Thank you, sir.
Yep. Thank you, ma'am. So, yeah, very good morning to all. Thank you for the introduction, ma'am. I would like to thank the management of MVP's KBT College of Engineering, Nasik, for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to enlighten the participants on information security and its mitigation techniques. So I would say that this would be a very interesting session for you all. We would also have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. So I would request any participants who have any uh, questions over this to post it in the live comments. So I will just pop that out to the larger audience in the display itself. So like this. So we are getting live comments in the session. So once the live comments are coming up, so we'll just post it in the um, YouTube page itself so that it will be easier for the audience to understand the question, and I would be answering that right away. So let's start with the presentation as of now. I'll just remove this. Fine. Uh, yep. So today we're gonna see about information security and its mitigation techniques. So information security is part of a cybersecurity and the security whole process. So information security mainly takes care of the information and the data which is being processed by the vendors from the clients. So client will be you and anyone as who give their information to the company, and the security features which is being enabled by the customer and the client who are being saved is termed under information security. So first of all, to understand the information security, we it's very important that we need to know about the cyber security and cyber crimes which is happening in and around us. So let's move on to the next slide. Yep. So what is cyber security? Cybersecurity refers to the body of technologies, process, and practices designed to protect devices, programs, and data from attack, damage, or unauthorized access. So, cybersecurity may also be referred as information technology security, that is, an IT security. So, cybersecurity. So, that's a part of defense mechanism or a technology which will be used to protect the networks, devices, programs from any kind of attack or unauthorized access. So, any kind of attack, in the sense, it can be any cyber attack which is being done towards the company or the organization for their infrastructure or to steal their data and everything. So, this process of making the defense mechanism against the cyber security will be termed as cyber security. So this protects the network devices, which means your switch, routers, firewalls, and everything, and programs like your application, your API applications, your web, yeah, like web servers. These all come under programs, and data is the data which you store from your customers. So the process of making this secured will be termed as cyber security. So this is referred as an information technology security, which is nothing but IT security. So you have been into so much of IT industries nowadays, and everyone start providing their IT security services, where we term as information technology security. So cyber crime. So we saw what is cyber security. So to understand why cyber security is required, we need to understand what is cyber crime first. So cybercrime is the use of computers networks to perform illegal activities such as spreading computer viruses, online bullying, performing unauthorized electronic fund transfers, and many more. So most of the cyber crimes are committed through the internet. Some cyber crimes can also be carried out using mobile phones via SMS and online chatting applications. So any fraudulent activity which is done with the help of the computer, with the help of the internet, and any kind of your cyber way to make you fool or make you and victim of the attack would be termed as cybercrime. Cybercrime is purely illegal. It is illicit to the any of people. So the main background behind it is that they use the computers and networks to perform these illegal activities. So they use these kind of illegal things to just spread their viruses to just make you a victim of their attack. And online bullying, unauthorized electronic fund transfer, like making use of your credit card, debit cards, and scamming over there. So everything would be termed as cybercrime. So any illegal thing which will be used to make the victim to access or to accept the viruses or the malware from the attacker would be termed as cybercrime. So who does this cybercrime? So everyone know that there's a technically people called hackers. So who are hackers? Hackers are very good in the technology term wise. So they are very good techies who understand the technology and who understand the layers of security we provide in the um, infrastructure. So hackers will be very good in everything. They are very good in scripting. They are very good in networking. They are good in command lines, prompt, and everywhere. So that's the reason hackers are very good in getting inside the infrastructure. Though you have one or two security features enabled over there. So how hackers do that? And how the hacker does is called a hacking attempt. So any kind of illegal thing which is the hacker is trying to do and he is capable of doing it and he is doing it properly would be termed as hacking. So hacking is part of cyber crime as well. So cybercrime is a part where they use computer networks to form illegal activities via hacking to spread their viruses or to perform any unauthorized access over you would be termed as cybercrime. So let's see about few cyber crimes which is part of a day-to-day life, or like we see it very frequently in the news and the online blogs. Okay, so first one would be privacy violation. Exposing personal information such as email address, phone number, account details on social media, websites, etc. So privacy violation is nothing but any kind of an fake account. So for example, you create your Facebook account and you post, you share your email, phone number, your photos and everything. So just think that any hacker or any other third person just come into picture and he tries to steal your data and he tries to fake yourself in another account and he tries to do that. So that would be termed as privacy violation, because he's violating your personal data and your privacy things. So identity theft is again about stealing personal information from somebody and impersonating that person. So if he creates another account and he makes that it's the legitimate person and he just try to steal your information and your identity would be part of identity theft. So if you see many actors or any social activist profiles, you can see like many profiles are there, but any one or two will be the legitimate actors profile. Others all will be part of any fake profiles. So these are part of your identity theft. So sharing copyrighted files information. So this involves distributing copyrighted protected files such as ebooks, computer programs, etc. So you can see there are many websites which sell free softwares, right? So even Windows is an paid version. Your Windows 10, your Photoshop, your Lightroom, Flash, everything is a part of your paid softwares. But if you go into the internet, there are many places where they sell it for free. They give you free keys to use that, and there are many places where you can buy it for free. So those are kind of an cyber, it's also part of a cyber crime where the copyrighted files and informations are being shared. So it's purely legal to share any kind of paid versions in free. So there are many websites which does so, and they also try to run their scripts, and they will start spying your mission if you try to do so. So make sure you don't use any copyrighted files or informations which is given for free. So a major one is spam. So sending unauthorized emails, and these emails usually contain advertisement. If you just go and log on to your Gmail or any mail browsers and you just see your spam folder, you will find around hundreds of emails every day. So these are part of your spamming. So these spamming is nothing but they send you random informations, random advertisements. So there is no any particular pattern for it. So they will be starting sharing many things like many unwanted or unrelated informations to you, and that's all will be termed as spamming. So this is where the information is not required for you, but still they start sending to you in an enormous manner would be termed as spamming. So another few types are electronic fund transfer. So electronic fund transfer, this involves gaining an unauthorized access to bank computer networks and making illegal fund transfers. So where a hacker, he tries to impersonate you and he hacks and he takes an access to your bank accounts or bank networks, and he tries to make illegal fund transfer. So this would be termed as electronic fund transfer, where he directly authorized himself as an legitimate person, but where he's hacking another person's profile and he tries to make fund transfers. These all part of your cybercrime. Electronic money laundering. So electronic money laundering is nothing but laundering money with the help of internet or computer. So laundering money is nothing but the process of changing your black money into white money. So they are brokers, they are agents who does that for just for money intentions. So these are the place where your black money is being converted into white. So these are like purely legal for the government, and it has been even in place to stop this in law. So electronic money laundering is a very bad thing which is going on around the world. So there are places and law in place to stop that as well. So this is purely legal where they convert their money into black into white. So ATM fraud. This involves intercepting ATM cards details such as account number, PIN numbers. These details are then used to withdraw funds from the intercepted accounts. So ATM fraud, this was been in news and everywhere in late 2005 or 2006. So where the people had some scammers which has been installed in the ATM machines, where when you try to access your card, and that card numbers will be transmitted to the hacker. And once you click on your PIN number, there will be a pinhole camera on top of your ATM box where they even find your PIN cards. So once they find their PIN numbers and account numbers details, the hacker will directly scam your account. He will try to intercept your account and he will start accessing your account itself. So this was a part of a very big cyber crime which came into picture, and now still banks are coming and evolving their ATM machines to stop these kind of ATM frauds. Denial of service attack, DOS. This is commonly known as DOS attack, and even an more newer version of DOS attack is the DDoS attack, which is nothing but the distributed of denial of service attacks. So this involves the use of computers in multiple locations to attack the servers with the views of shutting them down. So if you understand, there are machines. Okay, so for example, if you take an example of Flipkart, so Flipkart is a web server which is capable of accepting 10,000 users per second. So Flipkart is capable of accepting 10,000 users per second. So what happens is, so it has some certain RAM, it will have some database behind it. So that's how Flipkart works. So only when 10,000 users are able to access Flipkart, suddenly, like at some point of time, more than 1 lakh users are trying to access Flipkart. At that point of time, as our normal systems, the server will go slowly and it will not respond to all the requests. At that point of time, the server will not work. You will get a page called page not found, error 404. So this is a very common error when numerous number of users try to access one particular server in one particular time. So every servers have this mentality. So if you compare any normal servers, that will have only 1,000 users per second. So Flipkart will have around 10,000 or 1 lakh users per second. If you check on Google websites, so Google will have more than crores of users per second. So that's how they do that. So the denial of service attacks, the DDoS attacks, is mainly carried to have some like random machines. Like they use the bots and botnets. They use the bots to have a random package transfer to the server and try to make the server down. This you can randomly see when during the flash sales or IRCTC booking over your Tatkal tickets. These are the times when the server itself crashes. So that crashes just because when normally only like around 10,000 or 20,000 users can be accessed the server. But at that point of Tatkal time or a flash sale, there will be more than 2 lakh people who are trying to access. That's the reason the server shuts down itself. So or else it becomes very slow. That's the part where denial of service attacks comes. When the hacker wantedly does it for any random time with more than 2 lakh or 3 lakh users randomly, that time the server will go down, and that attack would be termed as DDoS attack. So which is nothing but distributed or denial of service attacks. So why cybersecurity is required? So cybersecurity is the technology and process that is designed to protect networks and devices from attack, damage, or unauthorized access. So the main concept of cybersecurity is that it will protect your business end to end. So all your business would be protected end to end, and it will protect the your data. That will automatically safeguards your website. Your website will be always safe from any kind of attacks from the attackers or the hackers, and this will in turn inspire your customer confidence. For example, there would be a two, like if I say example of Flipkart and Amazon, and Amazon being very good in security purposes, obviously all the customers will try to go to the Amazon web services because you trust them as they are more secure and they have more security features. So what the human mentality will do it will understand that it's more secure place and you will be able to give your informations to that particular company. So be installing the cybersecurity in the organizations will obviously increases your customer confidence. So how the customer confidence increases is that the protection of your customer and the client data. So once your client data and your customer data, everything is being protected, and that's how your business will increase, your safeguard your websites, it will increase your confidence as well, customer confidence, and it increases your productivity. So if there is no attack in your organization, there is no kind of any kind of slowness in your missions, so that will automatically increase your productivity. When your web services are very clean and very easy, so all users will start using it. If your servers are very always slow and you are not able to do any transaction, at that point of time people will not opt to use your company. So that's how your productivity increases once you have your cybersecurity in place. Your business is protected, your website is protected, your client data, your data is protected, and it will automatically increase your customer confidence. So let's think now, though you have security features, but still, if consequences if you're hacked. So if you're getting hacked, it will directly imply on your revenue loss. So if you see as an overall studies, more than 29% of business that face a data breach will end up in losing revenue. So always, if you suddenly see a news where there's an hacking play that's done in the Twitter or Facebook, suddenly at that point of time there will be many users who will stop using that particular web services, because whenever you see a news, or you can see any kind of blogs where they say that that particular company has been hacked, you will stop using it, because you know that it is unsafe to use that service. So directly it will have an impact on the revenue of the company, and you will have revenue loss. And next comes the loss of intellectual property. So loss of revenue and damaged reputation can be catastrophic. However, in some cases, hackers will also target design strategies and blueprint. So intellectual property is nothing but your patent things, or things which you have been recorded for patents, and your business statics and your profit and loss documents, all these will come under your confidential data. So any kind of loss to your confidential data will have a very impact on the organization, because that would be heart of your organization. So it's very important that your data are being secured at every point of time. So damage to the brand reputation. So a security breach can impact much more than just your short-term revenue. The long-term reputation of your brand is at attack. So many of us know that there was an company called eBay long before, but now we have only Amazon and Flipkart. Even that was because of a brand reputation, where in late 2003 the eBay had an hacking attempt over there, and most of the data was stolen. At that point of time, people slowly stopped using eBay, and that caused a lot to the brand reputation. And now eBay is not in the e-market itself, like it reduced a lot. So from the top position it has moved down to the 10 or 11 positions, where the brand reputation got damaged and the web services went down. Online vandalism is where some hackers fancy themselves as pranksters. They make some security breaches only to lead to a few word exchange on your website. So what they do is, if you have a website like, for example, you can take an IRCTC website where suddenly there comes like few any kind of images, or any Chinese words, kind of like unwanted words or images which comes into the website. So these are part of your online vandalism, which is improper to the user, but the hacker just try to send those messages. It can be anything. So it can be a political view or an individual view. They just post random pictures in your websites just for a fancy thing. So that will come under online vandalism. Hidden cost, surface level cost are just the beginning. There are many hidden costs related to the breaches as well. So once you are hacked, there will be a lot of background loss, like revenue loss. You can just term it in the market itself. Brand reputation, which is a very long manner, it will take larger time to understand how bad your brand reputation has gone down. Your intellectual property, your major documents, like your blueprints, your strategic designs, and your patent, everything's been lost, will be a very bad impact for the organization. So let's understand like few elements of cybersecurity. So network security is nothing but, network security is also known as perimeter security. These consist of policies and practices adopted to prevent and monitor unauthorized access, modification, or denial of computer networks and computer accessible resources. So network security is the first layer of security, where you are facing the internet. So anything from the internet would be like filtered over network security. We have firewalls in network security. So firewall is a very major network level and perimeter level security feature which we have. We have proxies, we have switches, routers in these layers. So these will be having set of policies to be whitelisted and blacklisted, so that only the legitimate traffic will be flowing between the internet and the infrastructure. So application security is nothing but the security measures at the application level that aim to prevent data or code within the app for being stolen or hijacked. Application requires constant updates and testing to ensure these programs are secure from attacks. Application security will make sure the applications which are being used in your machines are up to date and those applications are legitimate. There is no any background scripts which will be running. So there are um, like spywares which get installed to your machine in openly. If you see, it will be a word document, but when you open that in background, it will run a script which will be a spyware in your machine. So application security will take care that no application is behaving in a different way rather than its intended application. So that part of security level would be termed in the application security. Endpoint security is an approach to protect the computer networks that are remotely bridged to the client devices. The connection of laptops, tablets, mobile phones, and other wireless devices to corporate network creates attacks paths for the security threats. Endpoint security is nothing but the security level provided to the laptops, especially like you are working for an organization where they provide you the business laptop. The business laptop will have a lot of security features because you bring your business laptop to your home itself. So you bring your laptop to your home, and if you try to attack the original organization via this business laptop, will be very serious. So that's the point where endpoint security comes into picture. They install set of security features in your mission to protect the infra of the organization. Cloud security is the latest security which has been used nowadays. So cloud computing is nothing but the set of policies and technologies, applications, controls utilized to protect the virtualized IP data applications. So if you see all our infrastructure, like we have servers and everything, is being moved to the basic boxes to the cloud. So there are many providers for the cloud. We have Amazon Web Services, we have Google, Microsoft Azure. These are all cloud providers. So these cloud providers nowadays started giving the cloud security, so that once you buy the services for their cloud infrastructure, they give the securities as well. So it's very important that we put security for the cloud part, because every of your all your data and everything will be stored in the internet. So it will be stored in the cloud. So that's very important that you have your security up to date in the cloud, because everything is being virtualized there. Even your IP address is a virtual IP. So it's very important that we have a cloud security up to date. So the major element of that and the major topic which we're going to see today would be the information security. So information system security, more commonly referred as infosec. So infosec is the term which we use in the security stance, where we term it as information security. It refers to the process and methodologies involved with keeping the information confidential, available, and assuring its integrity. So, so the process of keeping your information secured in its whole life cycle. So that would be part of your information security. So once you keep your information secured in the whole life cycle, from the place where the client shares you the information to the end-to-end security, will be part of your information security. So as I said, the major part of the information security would be your CIA triad. So CIA triad is the heart of the information security, to make sure your information is being secured throughout the place. So what is CIA triad? C stands for confidentiality, I for integrity, and A for availability. So confidentiality is nothing but, confidentiality means that the data, objects, and resources are protected from the unauthorized viewing and other access. So it makes sure that your confidential data are confidential. So any kind of unauthorized access or viewing of that confidential data would be stopped in the confidentiality layer itself. So on I stands for integrity. So integrity measures protect information from unauthorized alteration. This measure provides assurance in accuracy and completeness of the data. So, so any kind of alteration to the confidential data would be termed in part of integrity. So any changes in the document. So for example, you have a confidential data in your um, organization. So integrity makes sure that any kind of alteration in that document would be stopped. So any kind of alteration or changes to the data, and that will take care of the accuracy and the completeness of the data as well. So that will be termed under integrity. And A stands for availability. Availability is nothing but in order an information system to be useful, it must be available to the authorized user. So it makes sure that your confidential data are available for, or like it will be available 24 cross 7, but only for the authorized users. So it will make sure that any data which is being transferred between the places are available, so that there should not be a place where someone says that the data is not available. So if the data is not available, that will again gonna cost you loss of productivity. So to increase the productivity, the data should be always available, and it should be available only to the authorized users. So this CIA triad will make sure that your information is secured end to end. So it will check that it is confidential from unauthorized access. It will make sure that there is no alteration in your confidential details, and the accuracy and completeness is being kept in the first place. And also it is available always, like it is available 24 cross 7 for the authorized users only. So this makes your information security a clear whole 360 view. So it makes sure that your data is available, confidential, and away from the any kind of alterations. So to understand the information security has a lot of regulations. So like we have a like laws for in government. So we have some set of regulations which is being part of your information and data security. So organizations must have, and it should imply these regulations to come into the like in a larger circle for the customers. So for example, if you see the first one, payment card industry data security standards, which we commonly call as PCI DSS. So PCI DSS regulation is set of requirements intended to ensure that all companies that process, store, or transmit credit card information maintain a secure environment. So as the name itself says, payment card industry. So PCI DSS is very important to all the payment card industry companies, where they store, transmit, and process the credit card or any debit card information, and that should make sure that it has a secure environment for such kind of transitions. So any companies like, for example, we'll take PayPal, Paytm, Google Pay. These are kind of places where you use your transaction. You use your online transaction via the credit card and debit cards. So these companies should be accepting these regulations, and they should be complying these regulations like PCI DSS. So next one is HIPAA, which is nothing but Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. So HIPAA is a federal law that requires the creation of national standards to protect sensitive patients' health information from being disclosed without the permission of the patients. So it's like HIPAA is an insurance and an health portability act, where they make sure that your health records and health informations are being kept in secure. Though in India we don't have such big organizations for complying the HIPAA standards. In US and Europe, in Eastern countries, you can see that HIPAA is very crucial, and a lot of insurance companies and your hospitality peoples everywhere, they use the HIPAA regulations, because the health information of you is very important for them, and that all health information will be secured in part of HIPAA. And GDPR. GDPR is nothing but General Data Protection Regulation. So GDPR is part of the European nations. So it is EU's General Data Protection Regulation, covers protection of the EU citizens' personal data, such as social security numbers, date of birth, email, like IP addresses, and account numbers. So all the information of the European citizens. So all the informations of the European citizens are being protected. So this are protected with the help of the regulations called GDPR. So this is part of the European nations itself. So they have their national security feature for their data, and that's the GDPR, which has the information to secure all the personal information of their citizens. Okay. Hmm. So let's understand few mitigation techniques in the in the information security. So in information security, we have lot of mitigation techniques. So everything which is being used to secure the information and the data in the process will be part of your mitigation techniques. Mitigation is nothing but the process of stopping something. So stopping any kind of information theft or the data theft is part of the mitigation technique used for information security. So first comes under the infrastructure security. Infrastructure security deals with the protection of internal and external network labs, data centers, servers, desktops, and mobile devices. So infrastructure security is nothing but securing the whole infrastructure. So what you normally term in infrastructure, infrastructure is your top to bottom, the features which is being used in your organization. So your web services, server, your networks, your labs, your data centers, your server, endpoint machines like your laptop, mobiles, and everything will come under your infrastructure. So giving the security in the um, like in the digital level and also in the physical level will come under part of infrastructure security. So incident response is the function that monitors for and investigates potential malicious behavior. In preparation of breaches, IT staff should have an incident response plan for containing the threat and restoring the network. In addition, the plan should create a system to prevent evidence for forensics analysis and potential prosecution. So, incident response makes sure that there should be a certain set of plans which will be already in place if kind of any kind of hacking or compromise is been done. So, suddenly, if your server goes down, there should be set of process which should be done to make it live again. So, if you see, major companies have like they use DCDR processes. So DC is nothing but their live infrastructure. If anything, any issues is being going in the live infrastructure, will make the DR live. So if suddenly your website goes down, so there will be a secondary server which will be running with the same database. And when this service goes down, automatically the second server will come into live. At that point of time, there will not be any loss for the end customers. Only the servers will switch behind internally, but the customer will not know that which server you are using. So they use the fallback failover services backend. So this will help to have a clear incident response plan when the main infrastructure is being attacked. So if that is being attacked, there should be an response plan for continuing the business without any stoppage. So that process will be part of your incident response. Vulnerability management. Vulnerability management is the process of scanning the environment for the weak points. So that will make sure that many of your exploits will be stopped. So once you do your vulnerability scanning or vulnerability testing in your missions, so it will make sure all your weak points and it will start analyzing and it will share the information. What are all the weak points in your mission to be fixed as soon as possible? Because any old softwares, any unsupported softwares are being part of your computer, that will be the weak points for the hacker to attack on your machine. So it's very important that we make vulnerability scanning very frequently in the organizations to understand any kind of weakness in your machines. And last is cryptography. Cryptography is a very big concept. Now we're gonna see that with an example. So everyone will understand how cryptography works. So, what is cryptography? Cryptography is used to secure and protect data during communication. It is helpful to prevent unauthorized persons or group of users from accessing any confidential data. So, there are two types of encryption and decryption. So, let's see about that as well. So, to understand cryptography, cryptography is used to secure and protect data during communication. So, anything communication between you and another person, in the part of the transmission, the data should be secured. For example, if I'm sending a message for an X stating, hello, how are you? So, hello, how are you is my data. So, that is transferred to another person called X. So, the process when the data is being transferred to that person, the data should be secured. It should not be available for any hacker, or the hacker should not hack the data. So the process of protecting that data and information will be part of your cryptography. So encryption and decryption are the two types. So encryption is the process which transforms the original information into an unrecognizable form. This new form of the message is entirely different from the original message. That's why a hacker is not able to read the data, as senders use an encryption algorithm. So encryption is nothing but anything converting the original information, like a readable format. What we send is a readable format into a unrecognizable form. So any readable format will be turned into ones and zeros and random digits or symbols, and that will be the encrypted format for the data. And that encrypted format will be shared to the another user. So decryption is the reverse process of the encryption. So decryption is the process of converting the decoded and encoded data in the form of that is readable and understandable by the human or the computer. This method of re-encrypting the text manually or by using keys will used to the encrypt the original data. So we can use the same algorithm which is used to encrypt, or we can use a different algorithm to decrypt as well. So that comes under the key algorithms. So we'll see about the key algorithms as well. So currently encryption is nothing but changing the readable format into unrecognizable format, so that the hacker will not able to gain access to that data. And decryption is the process where the encoded or unrecognizable format is being converted again into the original format. So that will be part of your decryption. Okay. So let's see that with an example. So we have a data where I love apples. So live I love apples is an example for a data which has been shared from the first person to another person. So the key we use here is they replace every letter with the third successive letter. So each letter will be changed into its third successive letter. So I will be changed as I, J, K. So K is the third successive letter. So we use as K. So M wise L, L, M, N. So N will be used as the third successive letter. So in the same process, the whole letters in that message will be changed into its third successive letter, and that would be your encrypted data. So your first data is I love apples. The cipher text KNQYGCRRNGU. So this will be your encrypted data. So when the hacker comes and read this KNQYGCRRN, he won't be able to understand what data you have shared. So this is the part where your data is being secured. So the key which we use here is the replacing every letter with the third successive letter is the key which we are using here. So let's see what types of key algorithms we have in place. So symmetric key encryption are algorithms which use the same cryptographic keys for both encryption of plain text and decryption of ciphertext. So symmetric key is a place where we use one single key for both encryption and decryption. So this is the place only one key is being used. Public key. Public key cryptography is an encryption system which is based on two pairs of key. So there will be two pairs of key, but public keys are used to encrypt the message for a receiver. So public key is a key where your keys will be stored in the internet itself from the web server. For example, if you are sending message via WhatsApp, so your keys will be stored in the WhatsApp web servers. There will not be any key stored in your machine. That will be stored in the server itself. So the users will use the public keys, and it will encrypt and decrypt in the format. Private key is part of public or the private symmetric key, which can be used as the same key to encrypt and decrypt data. So private key will be stored in your machine itself, where your public key will be stored in the public servers. So private key is more secure, where the key is stored in your machine as well, also in the public servers. So that's the place where private key is more secure when compared to the public key, because a hacker would be able to hack the public servers, but he will not be able to hack your private key generally. And also asymmetric key. Asymmetric encryption uses two pairs of key for encryption, and public key is available to anyone, while the secret key is only made available to the receiver of the message. So this acts as an additional security. So where asymmetric key will uses two pairs of key, the public key, as I said, will be available in the internet. So an hacker can hack the public key, but the private key is a secret key which will be available only to the user. So an hacker can hack the public key, but he will not be able to hack the private key. So asymmetric key will use both pairs of keys for encryption. It will use the public key and also the private key. So as both keys are used, it is more secured, and that's the latest part where we use asymmetric key for encrypting data. So if you think an example of WhatsApp or Telegram, these all messaging services use your asymmetric keys. So let's know about a few major data breaches. So as I said, eBay, which was a very big company in later 2014, it had a very big data breach over there. eBay reported an attack exposed its entire account list of 145 million users in May 2014, which includes the email names, addresses, and date of birth and encrypted passwords. So eBay was very high brand, and that point of time when they had an data breach and which impacted loss of the data of 145 million users. So much of data has been like a data breach happened in eBay, which caused a lot of bad reputation to the eBay. Even Adobe Industries, which share the Photoshop, Lightroom, and everything. So even that industry had a data breach in October 2013. It had a very big impact of 153 million user records, like nearly 3 million encrypted user credit card records. Login details of the user were being hacked, and it was being posted in the dark web. So dub smash, even I guess everyone would have been knowing the dub smash, where dub smash was a very big industry which came into picture before TikTok and everything. Dub smash also had a very big of data breach. It is a video messaging services. It had around 162 million email addresses and usernames and other personal data of date of births were stolen. So even this had a very big data breach. So data breach which is costing around 162 million users. So that caused a lot of data breach, and now if you see, you won't be able to see dub smash a lot because it even had an impact in its revenue loss. So many companies which be part of the data breaches will not be able to come up back in the market because the reputation will go down for sure. The customers will be very unhappy with the like the services given by the company. So you will not be trusting the server again. So you will not trust the company again, and you will not be uh, like using that machine. Like once they say there's an data breach in any of the application, you will start uninstalling that application. So that inwardly impacts the organization. So data breaches are very important, and it's very sure that make sure that the security features are in place so that will not have any big impacts in the data breaches. And a very recent attack which happened and which was done in whole worldwide is the Twitter hack. So the Twitter accounts of the major companies and individuals were compromised on July 15th, which is in the last month. On July 15th, we had an compromise in the Twitter accounts. One of the widespread and confronting breaches of the platform it ever seen. So the most worst like an hacking act which is done on the Twitter in the whole history of the Twitter is this. So what it happened is the hacker gained access of the major and top peoples. Like for example, if you take Barack Obama, Biden, and or Bill Gates. So all these top users' accounts were hacked by hackers, and what they did is they started giving an information stating they are like giving your money double. So please share us $1,000, like around. Please share us $1,000 in half an hour. I will share you $2,000. So this was the message which has been shared in top like Bill Gates or Barack Obama. So these people's accounts, what they did is they chose all the top politicians or top financially background people. So they took their accounts and they started posting such kind of messages. So once when they see the message, what the public did is they understood that okay, Bill Gates gonna give back $2,000 for us. So all started giving $1,000 to that particular account, which was stated in the comment. So all people started giving money to that particular account. When Twitter understood that it was not done by the legitimate user, it was hacked. So the Twitter deleted that post. But though the Twitter understood it in the cost of 30 minutes, in half an hour, Twitter took action against those posts and they deleted. But within that half an hour, there were more than 120K dollars which has been transferred to that account. So it's very faster. Like once the post is done, within seconds there are thousands and millions of users who want to see that post. So at that point of time, there was a major attack, and they said that it's for a COVID relief. So as this is the latest news, right? So they used the term called COVID relief, and they said give us $1,000 and you get $2,000 free. So once this has been posted, it costed a lot, and all their accounts has been hacked. Top officials accounts were being hacked, and then the accounts were again changed with their passwords, and they had strong passwords, and they again changed it. But still, it took half an hour for the Twitter to understand how this attack has happened. But even that 30 minutes interval will be a very bad impact to the organization. So to understand your whole information is being secured or not, you need to understand what Google knows. So Google is the toppest information platform in the world now. So Google is everywhere in people's life. Anything, basic internet services or anything which is will be part of your Google nowadays. So virtually, if you understand, Google will know more about you. All the applications which you are using is part of your Google. So Gmail, your mobile contacts are being synced with your Google, your YouTube history, your Google Play is the store where you download your applications. Your password is being saved in your browser, Google Chrome browsers, your location, your documents, your wallet, your Android devices, what all you search in Google. So these all comes part of your information. So these are all your informations. So Google starts gathering your informations, and it will make a database for every individual it knows. So for example, you are an individual with a name X. So Google will have a database where what all is your browsing history, your actually you do with it, and everything will be recorded by Google. So that is the thing which Google has the most information of anyone in the world. So by default, what Google does is Google enables its services. So once you install the software, it asks for permission for location. It will ask permission for your contacts, database, your media files, videos, photos, and everything. So you give OK for everything. So once you give OK, it automatically reads your data, and it will make a script which will be running to understand all your information. So that's the place where Google understand everything about you, and that will make sure that it has the most information in it. So it's very important that you should always understand what is required and not is required to be shared. So make use of these permissions tab in Google and all the Google applications. So you should be the person to facilitate the Google to whether to know what you do or not. So you always need to read the security features, and you need to disable the permissions which is not required for sure. So there are many requirements which are in the place of Google Chrome and YouTube and search history and your passwords, everything. So you should make sure that most confidential data are not being shared with any information provider, so that it should be safe with you itself. So Google knows more than Santa Claus. That was the term which is used in the US place in the US, where they say that Google knows everything than anyone else. So everything we know. So what all we comment, we see, we write, documents, emails, everything's been recorded in Google. Everywhere we go, all your location. So once you give OK for your location, Google Maps background will understand wherever you move around the places. And even if you check your Gmail, you will have many automated emails that your whole location history. So it will record all your locations wherever you go. So even that is been defaultly enabled in your machine. So make sure that if that is not required, you can disable that anytime at point of time. So make sure whether you need to know that or not. Everyone we meet. So if two people are meeting together, both the machines has Google, so Google will understand who meet uh, whoever meet anyone else. So that will also be recorded via the location tracking, which is being used in the Google. Our health and vitality, accelerometers, health monitors. So we have many Fitbits and everything in place, right? So the fast track Fitbits, and we have many health records, which has been used as watches, smart watches. So smart watches sync with your Google data, and even your health records are being recorded, and it will use this analytics to understand what we will do next. So that's how the artificial intelligence comes into picture. So artificial intelligence is the most advanced technology which the current generation is using. So artificial intelligence will start analyzing your activities, day-to-day activities. So what you do every day. So you go to office, uh, and you come back to your home, you go to a market and come back. So this becomes your routine. So it will understand that okay, in every week 5 days you're going to office and you're coming back. Weekly once you're going to the supermarket, weekly once you're going to the temple and everything. So this is kind of an analytics which will be done in backend. So it will understand what you will do next. So automatically, if it's on Friday, so even Google will know what you're going to do. So this is the analytics which the current technology is being used for the artificial intelligence. So I would request everyone that make sure that you are updated with the security features, and you start reading the blogs. You make sure that you are up to date with what the industry is running, and you should block unwanted permissions which is required for the information. So it can be any permission to your location or browsers or your contacts. So there are many apps which use your contacts information, so that is not required. So you can directly give no when you're trying to access any browser or any websites. That time it will ask for your location, just click deny. So nothing gonna happen if you click deny. So it's your information, so you should make sure that it's been in the safe hands. So that's for the day. Thank you all. So stay home, stay safe, and stay secured. So I'll sign off, and I would request everyone to share your comments and share your questions now. So I will directly share the questions and I will answer your questions for now. So any kind of questions you have in the cyber security or anything part of your information security or about hacking or anything, you can just share in the comments. So I will answer your question and answers now. If you have any queries, you can even share us in the email of mine. It's cyberupskill@gmail.com. So you can share me the email. So I will be posting the feedback link of the college. So make sure you fill the feedback form. So feedback form is being given in the live chat. So you can go on the live chat and you can just check. The feedback link is pasted over there. So start providing your feedbacks as well. If you have any queries, you can share over in the comments as well. So even if you have any queries later, you can share us to our email. Even that my email address is being shared in the chat box. You can use that email address as well. Okay, there's a question where for beginners, how do we prepare for exams like OSCP with PWK and CISP? Normally, OSCP, you can do it right now for the beginners. CISP is an Cisco based, which is an very tougher exam when compared, and CISP requires a minimum 3 years of experience in the cybersecurity. So you should be working in any part of cybersecurity place for 3 years, then you will be eligible for writing CISP. So OSCP you can start doing, but to go with basics, I would say you can go for any e-council certificates. Um, you can go for any vulnerability testing certificates, and security certificates. There are a lot of security certificates like Competia Plus. Competia Plus is a very big company which gives many certificates for securities. So you can go for Competia Plus, you can go for e-council. These are the basic certificates which will be used now. CISP will be used only later when you start working in cybersecurity and you work in a very good manner for like around 3-4 years. At that point of time, you can write for CISP. So we have another where Soma said, please teach basic hacking. Normally, as I am an certified hacker, ethical hacker, we have certain regulations for the hacker that there should not be any hacking things to be performed in the public viewers. So once you start learning for cybersecurity and you start learning hacking, you will have uh, white papers. White papers is nothing but the advisories from the security team itself. They share it as, they call it as white papers. So these are the papers where we learn things, but we don't show it in public because there are people who do it for the illicit purpose as well. So by law we should not do that. You can see a lot of the YouTube videos which shows you can do this, but it will have inverse effect in everywhere. So as you sign up with the e-council and you do a certificate over there, you should accompany that certificate rules and regulations. If not, you will be charged against it. That's the reason we don't do any open hacking procedures. But in a seminar, like in a face-to-face seminar, we used to do that, but not in the webinars, because webinars, there will be open participants everywhere. So normally we don't do that in the open webinars. But in a seminar, in a college, in a closed premises, we will help them to do so. Okay, so I guess that's all for the day. The feedback link has been shared for all you. So you can just click on the feedback link and you can start providing it. So that will be your feedback link. Okay. So Tejasvi ma'am, you need to address something at the end to the students.
Uh, no, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. Then thanks for all. Thanks for joining. So make sure you give your feedback links. You submit your feedback links, and you will have some basic questions which are part of the presentation itself. So if you have any issues, um, in understanding the or answering the questions, you can just route it. All your 3 questions or 4 questions in your feedback link are part of our video. So you can just go through the video very fast. You will have the answers right away in the same manner itself. The same question and the answers will be there. So learn very quickly. So it's a very fast world. You should start learning everything very fast. So make sure you give your importance to what you hear, so it will be in your head forever. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So thank you so much all. Okay, so we'll disconnect now. Thank you. Yeah,
Sir, can I
yeah,
propose a vote
yeah,
of thanks?
yeah, you can.
Being a faculty of IT department, MVP's KBT COE College of Engineering, I have a great honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to Mr. Vishal for enlightening us with your valuable information and for sharing your knowledge with our students. I am also thankful to our management, our principal, Dr. N.S. Patil sir, Vice Principal, Professor N.B. Desle sir, for their continued support. I also thank our head of the department, Dr. V.R. Sonone sir, for encouraging and guiding us in all our efforts. I thank all my colleagues for making this webinar successful. Finally, the wonderful student and participants who had turned up such a great numbers. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, thank you.